friends, it's Nikki and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be doing a video on 25 things that I've learned in my 25 years of life in honor of my 25th birthday. Over the past couple of years, I have gone through a lot of transformation. As some of you guys may know, I'm currently going through my self-discovery journey. I have been putting in a lot of work on healing myself, and a lot of stuff has happened to me this past couple of years, and it's really come to my attention that I need to start focusing on what is best for me. A lot of the stuff that I'm going to be talking about today is something that I've discovered along this journey, and I believe I'm going to continue to learn throughout the next 25 years of my life and so on. But these ones really stood out, and I hope that they can resonate with you as well. I'm reading everything off of my iPad. Some of them I'm going to have explanations for, and some of them are pretty self-explanatory, so I'm just going to jump into it. The first one says, not everyone in your life is meant to be in your life forever. This is something that has really been apparent to me, especially with the last couple of years. I've had a lot of people come and go in my life, a lot of people who have stayed and really made a huge impact on me. And in my opinion, every person that walks into your life is there for a reason, and it isn't necessarily a bad thing if they're in there for a short period of time, because sometimes those small lessons can make a big impact on your life. Love is the best healer. Do not be afraid to love. This one is also something that has been extremely important to me, especially with my healing journey. If you approach things with love, you will get it back tenfold. Being loved and feeling love for other people has been especially healing for me. I just love love. Your intuition is always right. Always trust your first initial instinct. And I know a lot of times it is really hard to learn to trust that initial feeling, but once you do, your intuition becomes stronger and stronger. So always trust that first initial instinct. It will benefit you significantly. If you're unhappy with something for a prolonged period of time, you need to change it. So this is something that I have really come to terms with, especially in this past year, with everything that's been happening to me. I felt like in a lot of situations, I kept getting the same result that I didn't want. That was a huge indicator for me that it is something that I absolutely need to change. I know that change is very difficult for a lot of people, but I think in order to level up and improve your life, you need to be going through a lot of changes in order to grow. Not every friendship is going to look the same. You could have one friend that you're a lot closer with, or you could have another friend that you're just more so acquaintances with. I think every relationship that you have in your life is going to look completely different, but especially when it comes to friendships. Being sensitive is a blessing, not a curse. Throughout my life, I have always been told I'm extremely sensitive. I'm sensitive to a lot of things. I'm sensitive to food. I'm sensitive to sound. I'm sensitive to people's energy. I am sensitive to just about anything. And it was always something that I felt very shameful about, but as I've gotten older, my sensitivity, it goes hand in hand with my intuition. It's really helped guide me throughout this process of healing and throughout life. Healing is never linear. There's lots of ups, there's lots of downs. It's just a process that everyone has to go through, and it doesn't look the same with every single person. You don't have to forgive someone to heal. One thing that is so pushed, and I have no idea why, is the only way that you can heal from a situation is if you forgive the person or you forgive whatever happened to you. In my opinion, I think going through the emotions of whatever happened to you is more important than forcing yourself to forgive someone. I think there are things in life that you don't need to forgive, and you shouldn't feel forced to forgive just to make another person comfortable or speed up the process of your healing. Like I mentioned before, healing is never linear, and I do not think it's necessary to forgive a certain situation or a certain person in order to heal yourself. When you let go of control, the universe, or for some people they may say God, spirit, the divine creator, whatever it is to you, when you let go of that control it blesses you. There's one situation in particular where I can remember me in my head saying, you know what? I let go of control. I am basically submitting to the situation and allowing the universe to take control of what is going on, because I know it's just going to benefit me for the greater good. The less control that I have over a lot of things has made me feel a lot more free, because the universe or God always knows what is best for you. The faster you can let go of control, the faster those blessings start to roll through in complete abundance. Nobody has the right to tell you how long you should grieve for. One thing that I have definitely learned throughout my grieving process of grieving my relationship, yes, there's different forms of grief, whether you are grieving someone who has passed, or you are grieving a past relationship, a past friendship, anything like that. Nobody has the right to tell you what you need to do to heal, because only you know what is best for you to heal, and only you know how to grieve for yourself. I'm going to say this again, healing is never linear. So that is a process you have to go through with yourself and really process all those different emotions. And it looks different for everyone. It really just is up to what your journey looks like. And I don't think anyone can tell you how long you need to be grieving for or how long you can be sad for. I do think that it is unhealthy to constantly be in that cycle of those hard emotions, but I also think that feeling every single emotion and going through that process is going to help you. Cognitive behavioral therapy, I'm talking counseling, only works if the person really wants it. I was in therapy from 14 years old up until 20 years old, and then after 20 years old, I saw a counselor every once in a while. I think that therapy is so heavily pushed, but the only way that therapy can work, in my experience, is if the person actually wants to go to therapy and isn't just going to therapy because they think it's the right thing to do for them. Sometimes therapy can look different, whether it be a coach. Personally, I don't agree with coaches, but I think there's different forms of therapy. Plant medicine, meditation, self-care. Therapy comes in all different forms, but I'm talking specifically with cognitive behavioral therapy. I think it will only work if the person actually wants to go in and do it. Listen to the way people talk about themselves. People will always tell on themselves. Whenever I first meet someone and they're kind of explaining things that they do, I try not to focus too much on the negative things that they may be talking about, but it is also something that you need to keep in the back of your mind. I think that's self-explanatory. Anyways, judgment is just suppressed curiosity. Whenever I am feeling judgmental towards someone, it's usually because I don't understand, or I feel like this person is reflecting something that I feel very suppressed about. Whether it be like, oh, they're super confident in what they're wearing, and I'm being judgmental towards that. I've noticed that it's just because I feel like I can't express myself in that clothing, for instance. So I definitely feel like judgment is just suppressed curiosity. I always have a lot of empathy for people who are judgmental. I was that person at one point, and it was just because I wasn't living my full authentic self. Once you start coming into yourself and being more comfortable in who you are, you tend to be less judgmental. Focus more on how things make you feel rather than how they make you look. This is not just material items. It could be what you're doing for work. With what I've gone through in this past year, my main focus right now is my happiness, and my peace is super important, so I try to make sure that everything I do is, one, intentional, true to myself, and makes me feel good. Never depend on another person as your source of happiness. True joy comes from peace within yourself, and that one is pretty self-explanatory. If they wanted to, they would. Also very self-explanatory. Tell people how much they mean to you often. You never know when that person may be leaving this earth. You never know if this could be the last time you're talking to them. Life moves quickly. It's extremely important to tell people how much they mean to you, and it makes them feel good. I know when people tell me how much I mean to them, it makes me feel good. Keep spreading the love, because love is the best healer. Never hide who you are, because you could be inspiring someone who relates to you, and it will attract the right people into your life. Coming into myself and turning 25, I have really noticed that whenever I am vulnerable, and that's why I started my podcast, I have started attracting a lot of like-minded people and people I want to be around into my life. Partners especially. If I am vulnerable with a male partner, it brings out this nurturing, providing, protective side in them, and it creates a really beautiful connection. So I definitely feel like no matter how hard it may be, just be yourself, because you could really be inspiring someone who is watching you. Never lower your standards just so someone can fit into them. So this one's kind of about dating. I always joke that the bar is literally in hell, and the standards for what men do is just, the bar is so low. Whenever I lower my standards, I am devaluing myself. I am not fulfilling what I want, and you should never do that to yourself. Vulnerability does not mean lack of boundaries. I'm not the best with boundary setting. I'm getting better at it. When I am vulnerable, it allows other people to let their walls down and be vulnerable as well. You can learn something valuable from anyone and anything. I think you can learn a lot from dogs. You can learn a lot from children. You can learn a lot from teenagers. You have to really approach things with curiosity and try to hold back on judgment, but I definitely feel like everyone holds value and you can learn from just about anyone and anything. I'm a very curious person, so I try to observe what is going on because I look at everything as a learning experience. People can change to be a better person and vice versa. Just because you've done bad things in your past, I definitely think that you can become a better person. You just have to put in the work. But I also think if you're a really good person, you can also become a bad person. You can always change. You can change every day if you wanted to. What you tolerate is teaching people how to treat you. This one is also about relationships, and this could be friendships or intimate partners. When I allow people to disrespect my boundaries or continue to do behaviors that I don't approve of, I'm teaching them to essentially disrespect me. Always make sure that you are protecting your boundaries because you are essentially teaching that person how to treat you. Invest in yourself first. This one was a very, very hard thing that I had to learn, and it's not being selfish, it's being self-full. Whenever I'm investing love into myself, I notice that people around me want to give me that same love as well. It's just a constant magnet to yourself. It's super important to continue to go throughout your life taking care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, who will? And number 25, which is the last one of them all, if it's not a fuck yes, it's a no. If it's a maybe, it's a no. It needs to be a fuck yes. In every single situation, I always check in with myself and I'm like, how does this make me feel? Is it a fuck yeah or is it a fuck no? Simple as that. Alrighty guys, that was 25 things that I have learned in my 25 years of life. Obviously there's other things that I have learned throughout my life, and I'm going to continue to learn every single day. Life is a journey, and I really appreciate you guys coming along this healing journey, spiritual journey, craziness, coming into myself with me, and I hope you learned a little bit from me, and I hope you could take away some good information from this video. I would love to hear from you guys. What is something that you have learned in your lifetime so far that I didn't mention in this video? Leave it in the comments below. Also, please make sure to like this video, share it with whoever you think would enjoy this type of video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and make sure to also subscribe to my podcast, The Vulnerability Hangover, because I go into a lot of these topics. I really appreciate you guys watching this video. I hope you learned something from me, and I would love to learn something from you. I will catch you guys in my next video. Okay, love you, bye!